The image of the day, or images of the day from my point of view, is you had Donald Trump sitting there being sworn in as the next president of the United States. His, let's call it likely, top cabinet members right behind him.
Yep.
With Jeff Bezos.
Yes.
Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, Tim Cook.
Yeah.
That was, keep in mind, they
had better seats than the cabinet members,
They had
right?
better seats than most of the cabinet members. They were sitting in front of, in some cases, the Commerce Secretary, the Defense Secretary, right? Mm-hmm. And I wonder, I don't know the answer to this, but I just wonder the statement that Donald Trump was trying to make there. Well, because this was very limited seating, and you had some of the cabinet members there, and it's not random that in the picture there, obviously, when they're all framed up, you had some of the biggest titans in business.
Yep.
And I would just say the biggest titans in tech, who were the sort of antagonists for many years, who were sitting there front row for the presidential inauguration.
Maybe that was part of the point of
or close to front row.
Yeah. Somehow Zuckerberg still looks like he's 28, even though he's 40, which is another story. But and there's Zuck next to I guess Jared, and the whole. So you're right. This is. It's something else. I think the other thing before Niall jumps in here is that it does set up a clash in Trump land with the likes, and we've already heard this publicly, Steve Bannon and these folks. But go ahead, Niall.
Well, I was going to say, to Blake's point, I think the prominence of those tech titans is really indicative of where power resides. And people can like or dislike President Trump, but he understands the dynamics of power very well. That's one of the reasons he's been able to come back from a situation that lots of people didn't think he'd be able to come back from. At this point in time, Elon Musk wields a lot more power than the incoming Commerce Secretary or something like that because of the age in which we live. Now, to your point briefly, Connell, I do think that clash is really fascinating because the Bannon versus Musk kind of wings of the current Republican Party, because that's a really substantive difference of opinion between the Elon Musk school of thought, which is about encouraging people in, dynamism in industry, and a more economically nationalist Steve Bannon, MAGA kind of approach. Those are very different ways of looking at the world and looking at the American economy.
Mike?
Well, you know, I think not only is he talented as Donald Trump in understanding of the way the wind is blowing, first of all, I think the prominent seating given to those folks, given their past opposition, or at least being at odds with President Trump and his past administration, was an intentional thing to send a signal.
What do you think
these
the
folks came to heal?
What do you think? Do you think that was the message?
I think that's part of the message, absolutely. The visual is everything. But you remember 8 years ago, he came in and he wanted to play Washington. There was an element of playing by the established rules of Washington. Rex Tillerson at the State Department, General Mattis at the Defense Department.
Right.
The folks that he had been recommended, that had been come up through the usual system, that were sort of indoctrinated, part of the furniture in Washington. He's going in a completely different direction now as we look at Elon Musk and Kash Patel at the thing. And one other point at the rally, one other point I would make is, you know, Ronald Reagan, in one of his, I guess, his first inaugural address, invoked the John Winthrop imagery of a city, shining city on a hill. Donald Trump understands what people respond to from a political, as a political. I mean, how much evidence do we need to understand that today? The golden age of America begins now. So I see sort of parallels there.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.